inspirations to me as a middle school and high school student that helped mentor me and keep me on the straight and narrow path and hardworking. And I guess the first person I would say that did that is my dad.
First and foremost, I would have to say my parents played a big role.
I was really fortunate growing up. My mom became a teacher.
My mom was my biggest inspiration.
My greatest mentor growing up was my grandfather.
I would have to say my elementary school teachers, Mrs. Holler and Mrs. Fisher at South Lebanon Elementary.
My mentor has always been Tina Washington, who was my 4th grade teacher when I was in elementary school.
He was my Latin teacher for 4 years in high school.
By my junior year of high school, I was well on track to be the salutatorian of my graduating class. And then I had honors pre-calculus with Steve Miller.
I just got that kind of attitude of showing up to work every day, taking pride in what you do. I got that from him.
She was tough, but she was compassionate.
He taught me to always be honest, high level of integrity, self-drive, hard work.
Steve was the first person who helped me understand that not only was it okay to fail at something, as long as you were actually trying, but he also explained that I didn't have to be good at everything.
They were just so caring and nurturing, and they just showed you the right ways to go in life.
It was just so important to have that role model to help you and to encourage you and support you when you had questions.
They showed me the value of hard work, showing up, putting forth your best effort, and they were always supportive.
He was my father figure, he was my everything, and just molded me, I believe, into the person that I am today.
There was just something about her that just drove me to want to be a teacher one day that was just like her.
He was an inspiration to be a lifelong learner. He really was somebody I could look up to in so many different ways.
They were the reason why I wanted to become a teacher.
She went back to college when I was going through school, and her goal was to graduate college before I graduated high school, and she did it.
Hanging with Mr. Miller for 45 minutes, just about every day for the first half of my junior year of high school, it changed my entire life.
The person I would give the most credit to is a colleague that I met at my first school. Her name is Miss Bell.
If I had to pick one person as a mentor that kind of shaped me from the very beginning of my career, I would have to say Elaine Rife.
When I first started teaching, I started to teach at Harrisburg School District, and my mentor was another 3rd grade teacher, and her name is Nicole Smith.
I was a TSS prior to becoming a teacher, and when I was a TSS, I was at Southwest Elementary School, so I think my mentors that kind of pushed me to be a better teacher were the teachers that I was with. So that would be Wendy Hartman and Dr. Georgia Bishop, Lisa Spangler, and Brenda Harwick.
Professionally, Vicki Hummel.
Many educators that I worked with, I took different pieces of what I observed and saw in their classrooms.
The other inspiration was a wrestling coach that I coached with for 3 years, junior high wrestling at Palmyra. His name was Jim Firestone.
Like so many other teachers, she's the reason that I'm employed by this district and why I've spent so many years here.
She was there for me when I was a new teacher.
And they really taught me what it was to be a teacher.
She was my co-teacher, she was my mentor coming into Lebanon School District right out of college.
She really aspires to look at the whole person and the whole child, and whether it be a student or another teacher, she looks at where they can grow and how they can become better, and she takes the time to listen and ask questions.
Whenever I talked to her about the issues and concerns I was having, she always offered advice and never seemed like I was bothering her.
I was hired initially to mentor students, but ironically, I think it was the opposite. She kind of took us under her wing and taught us that built my confidence and taught us that education is not just teaching, it's building relationships.
I've never met anybody like this. He put a lot of effort into figuring out the best way to do something, and then he never changed. And that was that was true for how he taught, it was true for how he coached, it was true for how he lived his life.
She doesn't just tell you what you can do to be better, she lets you discover it on your own.
Anyone who's been fortunate enough to know her or work with her or have been one of her students, they've been impacted in some way by her generous spirit.
He was like, like a grand master. He knew what moves to make. He knew middle school boys inside and out in every way psychologically, and could motivate a team like nobody I've ever seen before.
She was just a free spirit who taught me to enjoy teaching, enjoy the kids, always have that to-do list to keep yourself focused and on task, making sure you get what you need to get done each day.
We still keep in touch to this day. It's been almost 10 years. She came to my wedding a few years ago, and I'm really blessed to still have a connection with her.
Mentoring plays a very important role in the lives of our students.
I would say it's probably just as important, if not as more important, as delivering my content.
Mentoring really is at the heart of Girls on the Run. I've seen it benefit girls in my classroom and me personally. Through Girls on the Run, girls are gaining skills that they are able to apply not just in the classroom but in their life.
By being supportive, listening to them, and trying to give them advice where I feel like I can.
Or one of the things that I do when I'm working with kids is if they fail or if something's not going well, I know how to help them work through it. And I want to help them work through it so that they learn the value of failing but continuing to try and continuing to recover and making a plan for recovering and not just crumbling and falling apart.
I believe that having that growth mindset is the best thing that you can do for your students, to instill that growth mindset in all of your students, allow them to believe in themselves, to know they can do anything if they put their mind to it.
As far as now me being a mentor, I have been coaching, or had coached, I should say, the Girls on the Run team. It was really a great experience in that I could mentor the girls and build relationships not just in the classroom, but then we had a different kind of relationship after school in that they would come to me for anything that they needed, and it was a more personal relationship.
As a teacher and now a literacy coach, I just hope that I'm able to portray some of the qualities that she possesses and just have made a fraction of the impact on my students and colleagues that she's had on me and so many others.